Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, the 30th of March, 2020. It is day 4 of the national lockdown in South Africa. This is a really unique time in our nation's history, but really in global history as well. And we're seeing some unprecedented things. It's really interesting, I think, because these types of events, and we see in some situations, they can bring out the worst in us and the worst in humanity. But I think more often than not, and this is what we've been seeing over the last few days, is they tend to bring out the best of us, the better angels of our nature. And you can see this in the way that everyone has been coming together over the last couple of days. And I think that's really facilitated by a common purpose and a sense of community. It's really palpable almost. And the irony, of course, is that as we are sharing this sense of common purpose, it's really facilitated by the fact that we're disconnected physically and geographically. And that's a really intriguing dynamic in itself. Personally speaking, I'm in Gillett, KwaZulu-Natal. I'm in lockdown with my wife and my 3-year-old daughter and 3-month-old son. So a lot of the technology that allows us to feel so connected during these times, of course, also allows us to continue life as normal in ways that would never have been possible 10 years ago, and really would have been unthinkable 30 years ago. So these technologies, of course, they allow us to connect with people, to communicate with people in ways that are just really almost magical. And they facilitate all sorts of engagement. The purpose of this video is just to introduce you a little bit to the lockdown series that Regent Business School will be releasing over the next few weeks. This is a video series. And what we're hoping to do is just provide you with resources, helpful resources for managing your mental health, also being able to stay engaged with your studies, being engaged with your work as well, and to really get the most out of this period. We're hoping that it's not just going to be business as usual, but we're hoping that this is going to be an opportunity to actually take it to the next level. And as you'll see in the things we speak about over the next few weeks, this is really a possibility. So the videos that we'll be looking at are as follows. This Wednesday we'll be releasing Making a Wellness Schedule, what that looks like. Friday we'll be looking a bit more on what it means to work and study from home, what are the best practices here. This is actually something that people have been doing for quite a long time. It hasn't just started now with this lockdown. And there's a lot of best practice out there on this of what works and what doesn't work. So we'll be exploring that to see how do you optimize your own success. Next week, Monday, we'll be looking a little bit at keeping up morale. That's going to be important as the days go on. And then positive psychological techniques on Wednesday, looking at things like gratitude and mindfulness. These are really important aspects, self-compassion as well. Week 2, then Friday, we'll look a little bit more at exercising from home and what are the options here and why is this important, when is the best time to do it, etc., etc. This takes us now into hopefully what will be the last week of our lockdown, and we'll be looking at nutrition, how important that is when you are trying to use your cognitive functions for staying effective in your work, but also in your studies. A lot of you will be working and studying at the same time. That demands a lot of you, and you want to make sure that you are running a peak performance even during these times. The following Wednesday, we'll be looking just at different coping mechanisms. How do we cope? And this is, coping in these situations, but more generally as well, how do we cope with stress? What's the most effective way of having a healthy relationship with our stress? And that takes us to the final session, which is really looking specifically at stress management and how do we develop those tools. So what I would say in closing is, given that it is Monday morning today, you might find that for a lot of people, the reality of the situation is starting to sink in, because given that the first few days were over the weekend or a long weekend, it might have felt just as though life was carrying on. Not going into work again on Monday, that might start to allow the situation to sink in. And for some people, that'll be something that's really positive for them. And other people, there might be some trepidation or anxiety about that. These feelings are quite normal, I think, at this stage. And everyone, of course, is responding to this in a different way based on their own personality, but also on the unique circumstances and what they are looking at facing over the next few weeks. So what I would really encourage you is to see the opportunity in these times, because of course we can frame the situation in any way we want. In some ways we frame it as going to increase our anxiety, but some ways that we frame it is going to allow us to grow and to develop ourselves. And that's the opportunity that I think is in front of everybody right now. You can grow your mental well-being. You can also grow your physical strength and fitness during these times, which is of course something that we'll speak about more. But either way, the opportunity is there. So just to remind you as well that the counseling services at Regent Business School are very much open for business. We're doing video consultations. Research has shown that video counseling is as effective as face-to-face counseling. And in some ways, of course, it has advantages, especially in times like this. Confidentiality of these settings, as always, applies. If you're interested in setting up a session, you can email me on counselling@regent.ac.za. It's counseling with a double L, COUNSELLING, and then we can set up an appointment. My name is James Sturdy. I'm a registered psychological counselor with the Regent Business School Counseling Services, and look out for our next video coming Wednesday on establishing wellness schedules. Have a great day.